All right, welcome back to another episode of Small Guys Podcast. Today we are doing M3GAN and Atlanta, the whole series of Atlanta. The show just finished up in November, so me and Brian are doing that in the second half of the episode. But first, we got me, Aiden, and Andrew doing M3GAN, new horror movie that just came out January 6th. First, we're going to do some movie news. We just got, on the day we're recording this, yesterday, we got the new Ant-Man. I think it's the final trailer. It's the second trailer, whatever it is, because the movie comes out in a month. Ant-Man, Quantumania. Yeah, so I'm going to say this. We got the new trailer. Me and Aiden both watched it.
Oh, yeah.
I would say this: avoid watching it because I kind of regret watching it. I think you give up too much.
Dude, that's how all trailers are nowadays.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say what they give up because it's not a spoiler because you haven't seen it, but it shows a lot of the final battle. I'll say,
okay,
and the plot. So
no, well, that's kind of stupid.
Yeah. Now I think the reason this is because last year none of their movies really crossed the $1 billion mark, and I think they're trying to get asses in seats. So I think they're trying to show more of the plot to get people to go see it, if that makes sense.
I don't think I've ever heard that phrase, asses
in seats. You ever heard that?
So, I mean, my takeaway from the newest trailer, which is most likely the final trailer, is that I can't see this movie doing $1 billion though.
I don't think so either. If I had to guess, I'm saying 700 mil.
Yeah, I mean, it might be. It's not one of those, like, the only ones that make that kind of money are the tie-ins. Like this one, yeah, everyone's excited for King, but if you're someone that like has no idea, like that's why Spider-Man made a bunch of money, because people that don't follow it went to go see it because they're like,
they saw the older Spider-Man.
Yeah, they're
movies.
like, well, I remember seeing Tobey Maguire. I want to go see him.
Well, like, and Spider-Man is one of like the biggest comic book characters. Him and Batman and Superman.
But I mean, Avengers are always going to pass $1 billion.
But for 700 million for an Ant-Man movie, that's the best that the first two have done. So like that's really good if it can get there. But like the last couple Marvel trailers have been really vague, and you kind of don't know what they're about. I mean, even with that first Ant-Man trailer.
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid trailers for like not even just trying to be like, I'm one of these people trying to avoid trailers now, but for the Marvel movies in particular, because I feel like they give away half the damn movie.
Well, that's what sucks about the movie that we're about to talk about, M3GAN, because I saw it in a trailer preview for when we were at the movies, and like when we saw the movie today, there was an Ant-Man trailer before it, but it was the first one with the Yellow Brick Road, Elton John's.
Yeah, so, I did watch the first trailer,
and that's a really good trailer because it shows you nothing and it shows you like a lot of what the movie is, but you don't really know what the plot is. So yeah, I would say if you're listening to this and you somehow haven't seen the Ant-Man trailer, like Andrew, or like I know Brian doesn't watch them either, just try to avoid it because there's a lot of spoilers for what the plot is, and like the ending fight, like they show a lot. So I kind of, as soon as I finished watching, I was like, damn, I kind of regret that.
So that's kind of the other thing that I was going to mention is that I feel like the first trailer was perfect, like showing a hint of Bill Murray, like Yellow Brick Road was playing, and it showed you like the Marvel's take on Star Wars. I feel like that's what this movie is going to be about, or it's going to be similar to. But this final trailer, I feel like they made, like, obviously, like we were talking about, they showed the final battle scene. But I feel like they're making Kang look like such a villain because it's going to be that twist where you can already predict it, where he's going to be like an anti-hero. Like, I mean, most people were saying,
well, there's like, so many different versions of him too, right?
Yeah, Ant-Man's going to die. And I mean, but like, I doubt they're just going to kill Ant-Man off on his third movie.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it doesn't seem feasible.
Yeah, and if there's like a way where he's like, I beat him once, like for the Avengers movie. And he's like, I have an idea of how I could stop him again or something. I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, it's definitely up in the air, but my prediction, I can't see him dying in this one.
No, I think Hank Pym could die though. I don't think his daughter will die. I don't think the Wasp will die. Mm-hmm. Janet, it was like, they already kind of killed her off and then brought her back, so I don't think that'll happen. I think if a character is going to die, because I think there will be a big death, it'll probably be Hank, which sucks. I like that,
but I feel like they didn't show a lot of Wasp in that trailer. I feel like I didn't see her once.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like she could take over the Ant-Man mantle maybe in the future. I'm not sure.
Or maybe I feel like maybe she's just not. Maybe she just doesn't play as big of a role in this one as the other ones.
Yeah. And then The Last of Us debuts with 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's based off 27 reviews. Pretty cool. I think it airs the 15th, right, Aiden? January 15th?
This Sunday.
Yep. On HBO. Excited, yeah, we're pretty excited.
We'll be
obviously, if you put the
that.
games.
The big thing about that one is, I probably mentioned this before, but the VFX artist for this one, the guy that's doing the clickers and obviously all the makeup and all that, He like does Stranger Things, any like other big
Wow.
movies that we've seen with like good practical effects, Prey, like all that good stuff.
Yeah,
So
kind of the perfect
he's-
guy for this.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
I don't know his
pretty well
name or her
versed.
name, but yeah, I mean, they definitely have a portfolio, and that shit's stacked.
This
I'm
one's cool
excited.
too. 50 Cent and Eminem are developing an 8 Mile TV series. I'd watch that.
Uh,
Yeah, I could pass.
yeah,
Really? I like
Yeah.
the movie a lot, so we'll see. Um, Wednesday has been renewed for season 2 at Netflix.
probably the quickest
Big.
renewal of all Netflix shows.
Yeah, so I saw.
Let us know in the comments down below if you want us to review that.
Yeah,
I heard it's
Even
really
though
good.
we'd
I
be
mean,
a
I
little
want to
late.
see it. I
Yeah.
want to see it, but I just haven't had time.
yeah. So I saw a thing where like I guess Amazon owns the rights now or something like that, and they're gonna sell them the show, and Amazon's gonna make the show at one point, but then Netflix ended up. I don't know. I read
Mhm.
something about it. I probably should have looked more into it, but
That's how I
yeah.
feel
I
with.
mean,
I tried to start watching Yellowstone. Good luck. It's on like
Good luck,
every
Sean.
single streaming platform. It's not on
Yeah,
one.
it's on
But
like I don't
like
know
the
how people watch it live.
seasons
It's
are
on
Paramount.
Paramount
It's Paramount
no,
Plus.
because they're selling out.
not the old seasons. The new seasons are. The old
Mhm.
ones you need Peacock.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
Peacock's
everywhere.
only $5.
I don't know.
I know, but
They have like
I,
the what is it? 1922 is like the prequel, which
Yeah,
is
and
the
that one's
I
got
newest one
believe
Tim
that's
so.
out right
McGraw
now.
and some other people in it. Yeah. Um,
But
we got the first trailer for how do you say its name?
Bo,
Bo. Yep. First trailer for Bo's Afraid, starring Joaquin Phoenix. Releasing in theaters April 21st. Did you see that trailer, Andrew?
I did not know. That's the A24 one you guys were talking
yep,
about before?
it's
We
got
hopped
Joaquin
on this.
Phoenix, and it's like some like crazy ass. It's producers of Hereditary and Midsummer, so it's
Mm-hmm.
Is
gonna
it
be
a horror
definitely
movie?
yeah, it's gonna be like one of those fucked
Okay.
up
It
like
looked thriller-ish too, right?
psychological thriller,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
horrors. But we also get season 2 of Hunters on Amazon,
Yep.
sleeper ass show that if you guys haven't seen, I highly recommend. It's about like a group of Jewish not even they're not all Jewish. There's a few Jews and like just Americans and stuff like that. And they're it takes place after World War II, where all the Nazis are infiltrating the states. So like they're helping with the rockets, they're doing all this stuff, and these hunters, they call themselves, go and kill the Nazis. So
Oh.
it's good as
Hmm.
fuck. And we have Al Pacino's in it. Logan Lerman, which is Percy Jackson. I mean, it's hard to explain what the show is about, but I mean,
I have to
it
check it
came out
out.
like 2-3 years ago. Great watch, one of the best TV shows that I've ever seen, and then they just never talked about it for like 2-3 years, and then literally last week they dropped a trailer saying, "Oh, this final the second season, which is the finale, is coming out in a week."
Okay,
So
so only 2 seasons.
yeah, so I mean, it sucks though because it could easily go on for like 3-4 seasons,
Mm.
but I mean, it's a great
I
watch
watched a
though.
show on Netflix like a year ago that like I felt like I'd never heard of. It was called Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good show. There's only
Jericho.
yeah, there's two
Yeah.
seasons. It was like this town in Kansas after all of the United States gets like nuked.
Yeah.
And it was in
Hmm.
like base supposed to be in I think like early 2000s. But like
Mhm.
that was a 2 season show and honestly it was pretty good. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the last thing I got here, which is perfect because it ties in with the movie that we're about to talk about. M3GAN has grossed $50 million worldwide at the box office on the day we're recording this. And the film's budget was only 12 million, so it's turned a profit already. And it came
so
out.
yeah,
12
so
million.
Yep, the budget was 12 million.
that was
So
actually
Cheap.
something I was going to mention in the review that I guess we can kind of you want to roll into it, Josh? Hit us
yeah,
with
let
the
me read the
synopsis.
synopsis. Yep. M3GAN is about a robotic engineer at a toy company that builds a real life flight doll and that begins to take the life of its own. Let's see, it's got a 94% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and 80% audience score. It's marked as a horror mystery thriller, no comedy for some reason, although it's really funny, and it's PG-13.
I also want to throw in there too. We just go off Rotten Tomatoes, but the IMDb is like a 6.7 or something. So the scores, I sent this to these guys. They're kind of all over the place.
Yeah, but I'd
right
say
now.
80-90% of the time, that's kind of IMDb and the Rotten Tomatoes are completely different.
I know.
And it
IMDb is more
depends.
critic
It
based,
is
right?
usually.
I feel like usually they're a little closer. No.
No, like even like movies like Shawshank and stuff like that, IMDb's compared to Rotten Tomatoes. Moneyball, like good ass movies
Really?
are completely yeah.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
I usually take the IMDb ones with a real grain of salt.
Yeah. I mean, I
Gotcha.
can start
So
off
by
with
Amazon.
my view on this movie. I think it's the perfect movie if you were like in middle school and you go to your
Yeah.
parents drop you off at the movies and you sneak into this movie like, oh, we got to go see M3GAN. Like, I feel like this is the perfect movie
I think that's a good way to put it.
for that scenario. As an
Yeah,
adult
it's
watching it, it's got comedic relief and it is like horror. I thought that it was R. Like, I mean, I probably watched a glimpse of a trailer and I just knew the premise of it. But going in, I really thought it was rated R, so I thought it was gonna be like gory and all that stuff. And then I turned to Josh. I'm like, oh, this is PG-13 because they're not really showing much. So I feel like they definitely could have made it more on the horror aspect. But obviously, I see what they're trying to do. Like, imagine being that age and like seeing this, you're like, oh shit, like they're iPad babies and they're going to watch this and, you know, like they think that it could happen in real life,
so
which it
yeah,
could.
that's the thing is, I mean, this by far wasn't the worst movie I've seen, but like right after watching it, I was like, we've got quite a lot of movies coming out, especially in 2023. So I don't want to totally compare, but it is January, and that's what's going to happen at the end of the year. We're going to break things down and compare them. There's no way this makes a top 10 for I don't think anyone.
Hell no.
Which is strange because the Rotten Tomato scores are high, which generally kind of gives us an idea of where the movie will fall. It's sitting in the 90s right now. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me.
See, but the weirdest thing for me is that like all those like famous people that you follow on Instagram and stuff were just posting this on their story, like the screenshot of the poster and posting on their story and saying best movie ever. Like they're definitely getting paid out.
Yeah, but how much
There's
are they
no
getting paid
reason
out?
that
The whole budget was only
I
12
know, but
million.
it's weird, but it really doesn't make any sense because I literally saw a famous girl, that Judd Apatow's daughter from
Hmm.
Euphoria, and she literally posted on her story saying best movie ever. I don't think her dad has any ties to this movie that I know of. I mean, no way he's doing a $12 million film,
Yeah.
being as established as he is, and then let alone like what would make her just post that?
So
Maybe
But
she
that's
actually enjoyed it.
here's the thing. For horror movies in January, they're notorious for being bad, especially Blumhouse ones, right? Usually Hollywood will take movies that they kind of don't really care about and dump them in January because that month is notorious for people not really going to the movies. I looked it up actually, like regarded the best lists of horror movies in January. The only good one on here maybe is Split, but there's like The Boy, Mama, Cloverfield, maybe movies that you really wouldn't even think are that great.
They're
It's
just like those
really
low budget.
yeah, so when you see a movie like M3GAN, especially like maybe the trailer, which I have seen before watching the movie, you go into it with really low expectations. I mean, we kind of all thought we'd rip into the movie. I remember even when we saw Avatar, me and Mike were like shitting on the trailer while we were watching it, right? So to get what we got, it's not a slasher and it's not really even scary at all, but it is funny. And I like the message that it had.
Yeah.
Because it like Aiden said, it is realistic to the point where I could see this happening in the future with dolls and stuff like that, talking with kids and
Yeah, we're not
and
that
two, like
far off.
the message behind it too, where like this doll's always listening and stuff like that, is kind of how our phones are in our pockets, right? I mean, it's
Well, that's
crazy to
like with
think.
the Amazon those Google devices. It was
Alexa.
yeah,
Yeah,
they came
Yeah.
out and said that the like originally it was basically like this. I read this thing that was we're going off on a tangent here, but it was like at first they were like, "Oh no, they're not always listening. They're just listening for the keyword."
Yeah.
yeah,
And then they were like, "Okay, it is always listening, but it's not recording your conversations." And then I
yeah,
was like, "Okay, actually guys, it is always listening and it is always recording your conversations, but no humans can actually get this data."
yeah.
And then they were like, okay, so actually So it is recording all your conversations. It is always listening, and humans can get this data, but don't worry, we wouldn't do anything bad with it.
Yeah, they
Well,
just sell it. Sell the
especially with that,
information. That's
Yeah,
how they make their
each
money,
time they
man.
just kind of like half confess the truth, and then we're finally at like,
That's
okay,
why,
yeah,
I mean, but you got to think like even having an Google Dot or a Amazon
yeah, they're all
Echo
the
in your
same.
room, like they're always listening. Your phone is listening. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's just always like it is what it is.
It is what it is.
well,
You
especially
I
just-
mean-
mentioning like that AI that can write like papers and stuff like that for people.
Yeah,
who
we
want,
mentioned-
we
yeah.
mentioned it before,
Mhm.
like, and that's starting to get almost a mind of its own, making its own jokes and stuff like that. Like, we aren't that far off if you really think about it. From
No, so that's the thing with that like AI space. I'm not going to claim to know. I mean, basically anything, the barest minimum. But basically, as soon as it kind of kicks into high gear, AI, and it starts learning, it'll kind of be like that. Once it gets a learning protocol, it can pick up quick because it just keeps building on what it has. And that's, I mean, you saw that they were like trying to look at the code or whatever. I mean, movies always do a butchered job of what like software engineering is, but they're looking at it and you can see that it's slowly writing new things as she's sitting there.
Yeah.
Like at the end of that movie. So it was constantly updating and learning as it was just sitting there listening to the conversation. which
Well,
is
that
kinda
was the scary part, you know. I mean, yeah, sure, it's only a 4-foot doll, but it's like of a little girl. But like, I'm like, this could be realistic. I mean,
Yeah.
we're not that far off from it, I don't think. And
Yeah,
I
I
liked-
think that I'm gonna get ripped by Mike. I think that that's more realistic
don't
than
say
like
it.
I have to.
Don't say
Ultron.
Marvel.
Oh my
Jesus.
God, it's Ultron.
Oh, people don't listen to this. Yeah, and I like too about how the message behind like iPad kids. We just mentioned that too.
Yeah.
Where like she is addicted to this technology, and basically it's raising her instead of her parents.
Yeah,
or her guardian, right? In this circumstance, but like I like that a lot too. The message behind that.
I
Yeah,
thought
mean,
what's
but
her name?
also-
Sorry, real quick.
ahead.
I think it's Allison Wilson. I looked before this movie. The main
Gemma?
from Get Out.
yeah, the aunt
Yeah.
from Get Out.
Gemma.
I think she did a really good job in this movie.
I think the little girl did too. When she started crying about her parents and her being sad and Megan comforting her, I actually thought that was a really sad,
Oh, yeah.
heartwarming scene.
Well, she's
So-
the little girl from
Until she
Haunting of Hill
starts
House.
singing.
So I don't
Well,
know if
yeah,
you guys
the-
have ever seen that.
No.
She's a good ass like actress for
Mhm.
like her age. Like a lot of actors or actresses. Remember that one girl? I can't remember what movie it was from. Brothers. Remember the one girl that was always like acting in every movie and everyone hated her and they still hate her to this day. Like
Yeah.
she was like a Disney Channel girl.
Mhm.
But, like that was like
I know who you're talking about.
yeah, if you saw her face, you 100% would know. But people always would like bash her. But like this little girl, I've only seen her in Haunting of Hill House, and she played well. So, she's definitely a good actor for her age.
Yeah. Yeah, because you know, you go into the movie and like you can compare it to like Child's Play, Chucky, right? And sure, there's like some aspects there, but like this could be its own franchise, and there could be sequels from this movie, especially since it's becoming popular and making a lot of money. Yeah, I mean, I to say like I was kind of shocked going into it. I didn't give it the benefit of the doubt, and I thought I'd rip into it. But basically, I mean, if you're expecting to walk in and see a horror movie slasher, then you will be disappointed, I'd say. But like the story and the plot is actually it's pretty good. Now there's corny parts, right? Like Andrew said, there's
So,
singing, there's
That's
dancing.
what I think kind of.
But
Well,
that
the
made me
singing-
laugh. Like that shit's funny.
Yeah,
Like
it
the
is
Titanium
funny.
when she starts singing Titanium, that shit cracked me up. Like
Yeah,
that
because
was
yeah,
she's
I know.
literally a robot.
I'm always
Just trying to
fucking
comfort her.
laughing, So are the people next to
Yeah.
me.
yeah, but that's the whole point. It's a stupid robot for a kid. You know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
It can
but
it
you
can
gotta
be
think-
advanced enough to kill people, but its first emotional response to someone being sad is sing
Yeah,
Titanium.
the comfort to a kid, you sing.
But
Yeah, I don't know about
you gotta take
Titanium.
into aspect the fact that like she was invested in work. Was it Gemma?
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't want like anything to do with. Do we lose Josh? She didn't want anything to do with the like her niece, obviously, and she took over custody of her, and that's why she built this robot. And they're like, remember the what was it? The therapist was like, you need to be that attachment that
Yeah,
she
you
has,
need
that
to-
emotional attachment, and she's like, well, I don't really give a shit. Like, she's obviously trying to get a promotion, trying to make this like toy like as big
Yeah,
as it
which
can.
is kind of
So
shitty because I
she's
mean
like,
her
we'll worry about that later.
yeah
Yeah,
because her sister's like her sister that passed away. I mean the one thing was like I want you to take care of my daughter, and
yeah.
she's doing all
She,
that. So
she made a robot, and it's crazy how like fast they showed her, how fast she like coded it and all of that, which is funny. They like, what do they call it? A time lapse in the movie, when
yeah, where
realistically,
they
like, it's gonna take long as
that's like
shit.
a
Yeah,
multi-month project that you would have to keep going on to
yeah.
make that happen, and
The kid
she
would be
just
like
whips
two
it up
years older than
overnight.
when it was. But no, I mean, like I said to you guys, I mentioned in the group chat. I mean, it's a great like it's a younger like audience, obviously
Mhm.
targeting to a younger audience. But I mean, if you want a good AI movie, Ex Machina, by far one of the best AI movies of all time.
It's
And I
great.
think the best
Yeah.
TV show of all time would be Westworld. I mean,
Yeah.
Westworld kind of took a shit in the later seasons.
Yeah, I tried to
First
get
two are
on
good.
that.
Yeah, first two are
The
great.
first one's amazing.
First one
Season
is
one's great.
awesome. Season two's right up there with it. But season 3 and 4, I think they only went up to 4, but they were shit. So
Yeah, they're bad.
I don't recommend those two
I couldn't
seasons.
even get through 3. So.
But it's
But
really good.
yeah, I don't know. So again, like I was shocked, and yeah, the ending's predictable, and like when she's like
Dude,
chasing,
the ending's so predictable. When they introduced Bruce, I leaned over to Emma. I go, "That's gonna be the end of the movie. That robot's gonna kill Megan."
But they
yeah,
kind
like
of
when
did a
she,
good job of hinting at it, like, oh, this is what I can make. If I made this, I can make this. So
yeah,
Come on,
I didn't
no.
really expect him to like
I didn't
show it
I
like
expect an
did.
this.
M Night
And then
Shyamalan twist.
she's controlling it. She's never even put the gloves on. She knows how to control the whole thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know, but
Yeah,
it was funny. It was some real steel shit. So
that was real steel. Well,
yeah,
because when she runs in there and throws it on the ground, I'm like, you could have used Bruce
What was
there.
the point of the CEO dying?
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. So when she's dancing in the hallway and chases him down,
it's so
obviously
corny.
it's corny as fuck, but it is funny. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel
all
like
Doing
over
Fortnite
TikTok.
dances.
yeah, and that makes sense that I guess she would learn how to dance from a little girl who enjoys dancing, right? I mean, it's not.
No,
I
but
don't know.
I'm pretty sure she gets all her information from the web too. So
Yeah,
I mean, you got
Yeah,
to
but
think
I just
there's.
don't understand the point of killing them. Like, what?
Well, she was
Where in the?
emotionally attached, and she said her like number one job is to, uh, like stop harm.
protect Katie. Yeah,
Yeah, to Katie. So
I
I mean,
guess.
I don't know how the second kill, when she literally killed the dog, and then she killed the lady after, and she's like shoot her with a nail gun, shoot her with a
power washer.
Power washer and like poured
yeah,
some sort of
chemicals. I
like
don't know what it was.
acid or something in there. And sprayed
Yeah,
her face with it.
Well, so my gripe with the movie is I wish it was rated R.
yeah.
But again, and I'm going to use my term again, to put asses in seats, January horror movies do not do that well. So them making it PG-13 to get more people to see the movie makes sense.
Yeah.
So I
But
get
like
why
you
they
Yeah,
did
said,
it, but
like
you
Aiden
said
said,
they
you can
dropped
get more.
shitty movies at the beginning of the year. Like
yeah,
at this point, why do you even make shitty movies? Like,
Yeah,
every
wait, let
company
me get
does
a
it though.
January movie. I'll make one.
but that's what I'm saying. Like these production companies, like they obviously watched this movie. They had a decent idea, and they're like, "All right, we got 12 million, which is insane. Like that's actually really cheap for a successful
So that's
movie."
what yeah, when I saw that today after we like got out of the theater, I looked it up and I saw, oh wow, 12 million.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
it's
But you
pretty
can definitely
impressive.
tell from the CGI when
Oh
she's
yeah,
like
it's
talking and shit. Like, come on, like
so I think that was on purpose.
I do too.
I think because if her mouth matched up with her voice, it would look too human like. And it was supposed to be like a toy and not perfect. And I
Prototype.
think yeah, I think that was actually on purpose. I get what you're saying though, Aiden, but if her mouth would have matched up it would have looked kind of weird. It would have looked almost too human like.
well,
I'm
yeah, but I mean,
curious
I
how they
still feel
shot
like
most
that's
of the
like
scenes. Like, was she
they
completely
had.
CGI or was she
No,
puppet too? Or
they had a girl player.
Yeah,
I
there
don't
were
know if it was the same
two
girl.
actually I looked. It was two actors
one
that
did the
played.
voice and the other one like sat in as her? But I'm saying like, were some scenes like puppeteered or were some scenes like
No,
just
so
her
any
CGI?
scenes where she's
Oh,
like
CGI
walking, like
these
you can
days.
tell when she's in the hallway and the first door slams when the lights are flickering, like Megan's huge. She's
Yeah.
almost the size of the door. And then I know that they had an actress play Megan, like a little girl, during the what is it, the office scene, like when she's running around like dancing and doing all that shit.
Yeah.
Like that's definitely a girl.
Well,
And
like
you can
the
tell
recent
in the movement.
the recent Chucky remake a couple years ago, I know half the scenes they used like a doll, and
Yeah.
like would puppeteer it a little bit. So,
Mhm.
which that movie should have done like what this movie did, where it's like always listening in on you and like made it like more of a smart device kind of in a way. But it's crazy that we again, I mentioned the January horror movies. I remember seeing Split in 2017 in theaters and being like, wow, like it's crazy to watch a good new horror movie in January. Like it's so rare.
M.
So
Night
like,
Shyamalan.
yeah, so like to get this, even though it's not a horror movie, or at least it didn't feel like one. I know it's marketed as one and listed as one, but like I didn't think it was one. But I
No.
still enjoyed my time. I don't regret going at all. Again, my
Yeah.
gripe with it would be like, there was some corny moments and stuff like that, but like the fact that I wish it was rated R, because that power washing, when she power washes her face off, I mean they just showed the blood coming out. You know, it's
Yeah.
like. I mean, that would have been
It
gruesome.
definitely it had potential to be like an actual horror movie, but then again, I
Yeah.
mean, they did a good job for what they did.
So
And of course, it gets fun once she starts killing people. Because it takes almost an hour for her first kill.
Yeah, I would say the point where she was actually like freaky wasn't even after she had already killed two people, or not two people, the dog and the neighbor, and the boy actually, so three. Was when she's in the lab and Gemma has the phone call and it's not her. I was like, oh shit.
It seemed legit.
It did seem legit. So I was like, oh wow, she's like real advanced. And I guess that kind of ties into the end, which I thought that was kind of cool. That obviously she's still alive because you see the smart speaker light up and face them.
Well, and that guy sent the file of her specs and to a different company or to someone, right? So like the way of building her is out there somewhere.
Yeah, so I feel like if they were to make a
Ultron
sequel,
is still alive.
Yeah, if they were to make a sequel, it's gonna be like another company's gonna get the I guess you could say patent, and they're gonna go and build like I can see like iRobot shit where they get a bunch of Megans, and then I don't know. I mean, it's not gonna be like a war or anything, but it could be like where they're actually like
that's the third
in
movie.
the world. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you guys think they will make a sequel, and do you want them to?
I absolutely think they will make a sequel due to the fact that it made its money back on day one.
Yeah.
And two, yeah, sure, make a sequel.
I would see if a sequel came out.
I'm sure I'll go see it, even though
that's why I mean
I'm not going to give this movie a very high rating.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was a good watch.
Yeah,
it's not bad. I mean, like you said, it had comedic relief, which made it more bearable.
Yeah, dude, there's a lot of funny scenes.
But the message in it was good too. I mean, none of us are fathers, so it doesn't really affect us.
Yeah,
I mean, it's true. And did you guys hear Little Ass Kid like a couple rows up?
Dude, there's a woman next to Aiden fucking narrating the movie. She's like, "Oh no, that's funny. Not good."
But she was eating hot Cheetos. She ripped the bag open and she's ruffling them all around.
Yeah,
like, God damn it.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, she was like when they first bring the doll in and they're having dinner together, she's like, "Oh, that's creepy." I keep hearing her next to Aiden. But it was funny, because you guys were like a couple minutes later or whatever, but the movie opens up with a commercial. And
for the doll?
Yeah, for the doll. Or it's not for the doll, but it's for the company that the aunt works at. Gemma, for those like little fuzzball things.
Yeah.
And the commercial looks so real. Everyone was looking around like, did the movie start?
Yeah.
Funky, I think it's the company name. But yeah, so like that commercial, the way to open that movie was really cool. And then, you know, the parents dying was sad. They're like driving through a whiteout and snow and plow hit them or something like that. But
oh damn.
Yeah, so I mean the movie had its sad moments, but yeah, if a sequel came out, I'd go see it to give it credit, I guess. So.
I'd go see it.
Yeah, we kind of get to reviews
scores.
Yeah, Andrew, do you want to go first? I think you might give it the lowest.
No, I want to go last because I'm gonna give it the lowest.
I can go first.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, I mean, if you want a good AI movie, watch Ex Machina. Mm-hmm. Who is that? Who's the guy in it? Why am I drawing a blank?
It's the redheaded dude, right?
No, it's Moon Knight.
Yeah, he's in it. Oh, Oscar Isaac?
Isaac.
Yeah, he's the antagonist though. He like builds.
I
thought you meant the other guy, like the protagonist.
No, yeah, that guy too. But whatever. Great.
He's
movie.
The redheaded dude, right?
Literally, probably one of the. It's a sleeper movie. Like I've seen it multiple times, and I still forget about it.
Yeah.
But that's definitely like if I'm basing any AI movie off of that, like I mean, you can't really do that justice comparing this one to that, but it's in the same ballpark. But I enjoyed this movie. I mean, I didn't have any high expectations for it. Other than the fact that I thought it was rated R. I thought we were gonna get like some gory, slasher.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's definitely new. I mean, like you said, Chucky, I feel like is kind of played out.
Mhm.
Like I don't think I've seen like Child's Play, the original one. I don't think I've seen anything else rather than that. The
But it's not
Bride
like
of
too
Chucky.
similar. It's not like too similar to
No,
it,
it's not too similar, but
Yeah.
anyone that says it is going to say, "Oh, it's Chucky," "Oh, it's Annabelle"
Yeah,
combined, which
Annabelle
is
2's
basically
another
the
one.
same.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like the concept of it. I like
Mhm.
how she was like a toy inventor. She was just trying to help her niece out, who she took custody of, that she obviously didn't want custody of. But all in all, I mean, it was a good watch, decent movie. Like you said, I mean, I guess they put shitty movies out in January, so
Yeah.
know if I ever make a film or any of you guys and my movie comes out in January, you
Hey,
didn't
we'll
make
still
it.
go see it.
Yeah, hopefully I make my money back in a day.
I'll
But
catch you on DVD.
yeah, but I'd give this movie. See, I set the bar here.
You do. I already wrote
I
mine
do.
wrote
down.
mine
though.
down.
I wrote mine
I,
down.
I I don't write them down, but I mean I can't see myself giving this like anything like 70 and above, and then again I can't see myself giving it anything 60 and above. So I think I'm gonna go with a solid 58 out of 100
Oh,
on this
Wow.
one.
okay. You
I
made me
Might be
mean,
feel
and
lower than
that's
good.
Andrew
still
then.
if it's above 50, it's still a good movie, but I mean it's definitely not one of my favorites. So
Yeah.
58 I feel like is good. I'm not bashing the movie, but I enjoyed it, but it's definitely not, like you
So you don't
said, it's
regret
not gonna
seeing it
be.
then?
No, I don't regret seeing it.
Would you recommend it to anyone?
Yeah, I mean, if you
They're
like
like, hey,
movies
should I
like
go see
that,
this on a
I mean, if
Tuesday
they're
for
gonna
cheap
go,
or
if they're comparing it, like, hey, am I gonna go see? I don't know. I mean,
this or
any
Barbarian or
other.
something or
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
like, if they got two, I'm probably gonna pick the other one. But
Yeah.
it's something to watch. I'll be excited to see if this gets on any streaming platforms, which
Yeah.
most likely it will.
Yeah, to kind of give my perspective, Aiden said most of the stuff. This movie is an hour and 40. They probably could have cut 10,
I like
15.
that. I did like
Yeah,
short movie though.
yeah, I do too. I'm saying they probably could even cut a little bit more. I, I
100%.
I like the character development from the main character Gemma. At first she's not really equipped to take care of a kid. And she almost pretty much picks work over her niece.
Mhm.
To the point where she has Megan raising her, you know. But at the end of the movie, she decides like, no, it's not even worth it. I'm
I'm gonna be a parent now.
yeah, I'm gonna be a parent now, and I like that a lot. And two, even like from Katie's perspective, losing her parents at the beginning of the movie, and growing too as a character, and it makes sense that she would grow this huge attachment to Megan and have trouble with letting her go. And I just think the acting was great, and I actually enjoyed the plot. It's crazy going to a horror movie and like coming out and enjoying the plot.
Mhm.
But yeah, again, it has its corny moments. I wish it wasn't PG-13. Hopefully the next one isn't, but it probably will be. So I'm gonna give it a 72 because I liked it more than
Oh, okay.
Bodies. Like I think it's a
Mm.
better. I think it's a better movie than that.
I
Um,
disagree,
I
but
could agree on that.
I think
Maybe. I don't
the
know.
plot's better, and I think it's almost as funny. I'd say.
Bodies was dumb as fuck. But at
It
the
Yeah, the
end,
plot
was
was
really
so
bad.
at
stupid.
the end of that movie, I was like, you know what? That's the last thing I could have thought of.
Yeah,
So
it
I gave
was
it some
like,
credit. It was
yeah,
still
you couldn't
stupid as
predict it.
hell. Yeah, you couldn't predict that though. That fucking Pete Davidson was doing a TikTok and killed himself.
Yeah, but in a horror movie aspect, I'd say 95% of the time it's like predictable, right? I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
even really good
Yeah, I
horror
think that's why I gave
And that's why
Bodies a little
when she's
credit.
yeah, when she's grabbing the chainsaw off the wall and she's still
Yeah, I
going
mean
with
that's
the
obvious.
wall, I'm like, come
Yeah,
on.
yeah. So it's like there's obviously tropes there from horror movies, and that's why I'm not giving it that great of a score. But I don't regret seeing it. I'd recommend people to see it. And like I said, if there's a sequel, which I kind of hope there is, I'd go see it. So better than what I was expecting.
I do want to add something before you finish this off, Andrew. But the little girl, when she like couldn't have Megan, she's like smacking her what's it called? She grabs the scissors like she's gonna stab the therapist.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
She's
caught me
losing her
off
mind,
guard.
she's kicking the seat. Like, geez, man. Like they could have
because
made
she's
a
looking
lot
at
more
that
off of
like
that.
that's like the last of what her parents are, like her
Yeah.
attachment to her and the
It's
memories that
Yeah.
she has of her
Yeah,
parents. So
especially that. That doesn't help when her memories are embedded into Megan.
yeah,
But I guess she doesn't give a
that's
shit
her
after.
best friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes it harder.
And I did think that the one scene, sorry, that was corny when they were fighting on the kitchen table
Oh
they're
yeah.
like, go back, and she literally is looking out her door. She can see Megan. Like it's
Yeah.
different if she was like half asleep, rubbing her eyes, like and they showed her perspective where it's all blurry. But no,
I like how
she's
they
wide awake.
then they start Aiden right after that. They're like slamming in the kitchen table. I
Yeah.
lean over to Emma. I go, "Oh, is Katie sleeping? Is she still
Yeah,
asleep?
yeah,
Is she
she's
resting?"
sleeping. Stupid.
It took them to like fucking break shit in the hallway for her to
Yeah,
be like, "Hey,
literally.
maybe I should get up."
Yeah, no, but I had to add my 2 cents on that.
Dude, and I just want to say this too, the ripping the ear off scene.
Ooh,
That
Yeah.
being PG-13, I was like, ooh.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I
it was-
don't think the ear stretches that much. I mean, I don't fucking
No,
no,
but it was
doesn't.
gross.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
that was
pretty
that
gross.
was gross.
But I'll finish this off, carry into my score. I'm actually really close to Aiden, but right in between you guys. So spoiler, I am giving this a 60 flat. That's what I wrote down. So
Nice.
pretty close to Aiden with this review. And that's only because like I don't feel like it's the worst thing ever because they're working with $12 million. That's impressive for this
Oh,
movie
yeah.
to come out. Yeah, like
100%.
I mean, a $12 million movie these days.
That acting alone is.
That should be like a fucking 10 out of 100. So the fact that they were able to pull off some good acting, a semi-original plot, but it's just so corny. Make it a little bit more, make it a little darker. I get it. They're trying, like you said, Josh, ass in seats. First time I've ever heard that.
And it favors the younger audience.
It does, and you can get them in, and it's on TikTok, and people were doing that fucking dance that she was doing in the hallway that was
dude.
all over the internet. So I mean, they marketed the movie well, and I'm sure it's gonna do well. And if there's a sequel, I'll go see it again, or I'll go see that movie. But I can't give this a high score just because it's not a great movie at the end of the day. Like that's just reality. But if you've got nothing better to do and you got a good deal on a movie or you don't want to see something else, go check it out.
Yeah, like
I would definitely
$5 Tuesdays.
you would be an
and free
absolute
popcorn.
idiot though, I will say, if you've seen M3GAN before you've seen Avatar. I mean, you got to be an absolute moron.
Yeah, that's
Thank
me,
God.
guys. If you don't know,
Thank God I don't know
still,
anyone.
yeah, that is crazy. That's how you know the Avatar shit. Because if I'm going to see M3GAN and I haven't seen Avatar yet, you know where I watch real cinema.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's some fake blue man group shit.
Yeah.
yeah, so Bodies got an 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. On IMDb, it's got 6.3. So like that's my point
Okay.
earlier.
That's
so
fair.
That shit does not deserve over 5.
yeah. But
It deserves
yeah.
in the 60s or 70s, maybe.
But yeah, I mean,
But,
like this movie, I don't think I'd recommend it to anyone.
That's what I said. Yeah.
No, this movie, like, if
Oh,
someone
really?
like, I mean, it's different because we see every movie. We have a
Yeah.
fucking movie podcast. Like, we gotta see everything, and we enjoy it. Like, I don't mind watching a shitty.
Yeah, it's the
movie
thing. I like to. If
by
the
the
movie's
time.
not good, I'll still go see it because we can
But
rip into
that's
it
my
on
whole
this.
point.
Yeah.
If we didn't have this podcast, I probably wouldn't have seen it. But I'm happy that I did see it because actually I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah,
I enjoyed my
Yeah.
time.
I don't know.
If I'm being honest, I don't know. I mean, let us know what you guys think.
I'm comfortable with the 60 that I gave it. I feel like I'm the only reason I'm going that high. Like I said, is because of the budget, and I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this is probably a 40s movie.
When we walked out, and I figured in my head, I'm like, I think Andrew will actually kind of like it, and I think Aiden will hate it. And then I looked over, and Aiden's like, "Oh, it wasn't that bad." And Andrew's like, "Really? I didn't like it." So
Yeah.
I was shocked by the your reactions. I really thought
I mean,
it'd be
as long as I can sit down and I'm still like, there's enjoyable parts. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and fucking be bored out of my mind.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
will add one more
Nah.
thing.
And I don't really know a movie where I am bored out of my mind.
I disagree with you guys that I thought this movie, maybe it was just me because I came in 15 minutes late. I don't normally do that, but this movie flew by. Like I got up, I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
that's
it
the
was
end.
pretty quick.
I thought this movie was really fast. Like there was constantly something going on, even if it wasn't like a nail biter, but it kept a steady pace.
Yeah.